let's talk about pressing the kettlebell. A press is just literally taking an object overhead. So what I'll have you ladies do is clean the kettlebell up. From here, they're in a good rack position, so the kettlebell's across the lifeline on their palm, claw grip. Actually, for the press, we'll have them put their thumb or their hands around the kettlebell. They're gonna pull their shoulders down and back. What they're gonna do is they're gonna tighten their glutes and their abs. So I want you to zip up your core. So zip it up, crush the bell, and then you're gonna pull your shoulders down and back, and then drive your bicep to your ear straight overhead. So you'll notice in the press position, it's still the same hand position as in the rack position. Their bicep is close to their ear. The kettlebell, the weight is over their heel, and then go ahead and pull it down actively. Good, do like 3 or 4. So it's just bicep to ear, crush grip. Go ahead and relax. Just put the bell down. So errors with the press, it's pretty hard to mess it up, but if you don't screen your clients, they might be too tight and they might not be able to achieve a good overhead press position, so they might be right here. The other one is sometimes people feel pressure on their lower back, and a quick fix for that would be to have them zip up their core, meaning you're going to tighten your glutes, tighten your abs, even roll your pelvis forward and then press it, because they'll be here and they'll just let go of everything right here, and they'll stress their low back. Could you guys press one and just let go of your core on top? So you're here, just press out, exactly. That's what you see, it's ugly, right? So bring it back down. So what I want you guys to do, take your pelvis and you're going to tighten your glutes hard, tighten your quads, flex your abs, crush grip, take a big breath in, and then drive up and exhale as you push out, and then pull it back down and try like 2 or 3. Good. And then go ahead and just park the bells on the ground. A common thing that you see in the kettlebell world is people do a modified Arnold press, meaning they come out slightly and then up, which is okay, it's fine, but we're moving towards the push press here, and it doesn't make any sense when we go to the push press. So it would almost be like squatting, but then taking a side step when you squat. So the most direct vertical line from point A to point B is just straight up. So we teach our press, literally, boom, straight up the chimney, bicep to ear on top. Okay, so the push press involves using your legs to generate power to send the kettlebell overhead. It's a lot more explosive, and you have to have mastered the press first. So first of all, if you're Arnold pressing or coming out to the side, it won't work with a push press. So with the push press, it's a dip, right? So what I want you guys to do is you're going to push your hips forward, and we'll just practice the dip. It's knees go forward, hips are an extension. So that's the dip. It's a bounce. It's quick. You can bring your feet more under your hips too. The biggest first mistake people make with the push press is that they squat back. But if I have the kettlebell and I'm trying to send the weight overhead and I squat with it, the force of the kettlebell is going this way. So I have to keep my hips in extension and dip. The best way that I found to teach that is to put people on the wall. So we'll go over to the wall and I'll show you the wall drill. So we just talked about one of the most common errors with the push press, and that is people squat, right? You need to keep your hips in extension and generate power with the stretch reflex. So I'm gonna have Sarah put her heels, backside, and shoulders against the wall, and she's just gonna do 5 dips. So she's gonna just dip forward. And that is basically the movement of the push press. So just do 5 and then relax. Good. So now that we talked about the dip, that stretch reflex, it's basically if someone is standing like this and you sneak up behind them and pop them in the back and they dip forward, or it's the same stretch reflex that the doctor uses when he hits the end of your knee. So now that they've mastered that stretch reflex, let's talk about bumping it up. So what I want to talk about next is connecting your elbow to your hip. So if my elbow isn't connected to my body, I'm going to dip and my elbow's just going to kind of flail about. To generate power though, I need connection. So I'm connecting to my body, and then I dip and I bump overhead and lock out. So can you guys clean up the kettlebell safely? There you go. So now they want to pull their elbow close to their body. And another quick pointer here is if you were really being super technical, you could almost exhale slightly. Can you guys go ahead and take a big breath in? You'll notice their arms come away from their body. So not optimal for generating power to go up. So you could even exhale slightly and then you're gonna dip and then bump and lock out. And the kettlebell goes straight up the chimney, just like in the press. And you're gonna lock out with your bicep next to your ear. So go ahead and bump it up. Good, and then bring it down. So this is a lot more explosive. Their dip obviously isn't that huge because they're using light weights, but if they were to go bigger weights, they'd probably have a much more pronounced dip. I just want to talk about a proper overhead position with the kettlebell. So can you guys go ahead and bring the kettlebell to overhead? So you're gonna lock out. You'll notice a couple things. One, it's the kettlebell is across the left line of their palm still. Two, their wrist is straight. If you have a bent wrist, you're gonna develop tendonitis, you're gonna lose clamps. Three, bicep next to their ear. Four, it almost could be like a 45-degree angle right here. So it's like if you were shooting a gun like 45 degrees, it'd be like right here overhead. And they both have good overhead position. So bring it down and then relax.